Sqairz have just introduced their 2025 models, and I have to tell you, as a 5-year wearer of Sqairz, these are their best shoes yet. Really excited to show them to you. I'm Ryan Ballengee with Golf News Net. Thanks for checking out my channel once again. So, wanted to show off the shoes I just got from Sqairz. These are their 2025 model Velo shoes. And just for a point of comparison, I have the 2024 model, which you can tell is the 2024 model because I literally wore the nubs off of the spikes wearing these so often last year. And you might go, hey, Ryan, these two shoes don't look a whole lot different, so what's the deal? Why are you making this video? And there is a point to it because there are a couple of things that are new in the 2025 shoe that make this one not obsolete, but they make this a much better option for me and for you going forward. Now, Sqairz has 3 models. They have the Velo, which I started wearing last year, was a new model designed with features that I'll get into that were meant to help players with higher swing speeds, to maintain their velocity, use ground forces better, and just have that little extra bit of security, that side-to-side lateral security in your shoe, that stability that is on top of the stability Sqairz already has. Just kind of help you swing out your shoes a little bit better, to be honest with you. But the big thing that Sqairz did for this year is to reduce the weight of their shoes across the board pretty dramatically, to the tune of like 120 to 125 grams on each of the models. So maybe the knock that has been on Sqairz, and frankly most spiked footwear over the years, especially as spiked footwear has come back in vogue because of the stability that it offers compared to most spikeless shoes, is that spike shoes are just more heavy. There's just more that has to go into making them, right? You have to have an outsole that can handle spikes. The spikes aren't particularly heavy, but the ports that hold them add some substantial additional weight. And in the case of Sqairz in particular, they've built a shoe that is designed to be very stable. And stability has typically meant additional weight. And that's why you see PGA Tour pros playing shoes that aren't particularly light. I mean, some do, but the ones that love spikes play heavier shoes because that weight helps them with stability. But some changes made to the raw components that are used in this shoe really do help lessen the weight burden on the shoe by the tune of 120 grams. So in this particular model and across the board, they have changed their outsole. They use a lighter material now. This is TPU is something that's used pretty much across the board. This is a very common thermoplastic that is particularly durable, does a good job, but also is durable without adding a whole ton of weight. Well, they've introduced a new lighter outsole component to this. So this is basically the same looking thing as this. I mean, obviously this is prettier because it's newer, but it's the same basic idea. This is just way lighter. And then the other piece of this is a new midsole. So again, you're not going to necessarily see it just by looking at it, and that's why we're making the video. But the NRG foam, NRG, it's a proprietary EVA foam that a number of different shoemakers use, but they've put it into the Sqairz models for this year. They're a little lighter weight, and they have found with NRG that they can make different tunes of firmness with the foam. So you can have a shoe that's super comfortable, that kind of gives back a lot of energy to you with every step. See that with a number of apparel makers. Those are the folks who are making shoes that are meant to be like super comfy. You can wear them anywhere, anytime. They're like slippers. The downside to those is you lose performance because energy that you could put into the ground and get back out in terms of ground force usage, well, it just goes into the foam and then comes back to your foot. And you don't get as much into the ground. So you lose some benefit of your power as a golfer. That's specifically why they made this model, the Velo model. And what they have found is you can kind of tune this foam a little bit differently than maybe that style. Make it a little bit firmer, still comfortable, right? Lighter weight, still comfortable, but gives you energy back. And we've seen that across a couple of different manufacturers. Echo has multiple different firmnesses of foam in the same midsole. We've seen that usage. We've seen kind of different changes to what the midsole does in response to whether you want more performance orientation or whether you want something that's just kind of comfortable and easy to walk around. And your mileage may vary literally, and your needs may vary as well. But for me, someone who wants to swing it really hard and wants the benefit of additional stability to do that with confidence, being able to have that firmness in a lighter weight product is a good thing. You still have the stability of the wideness of the shoe, which I have always loved because my wide feet fit flat in here, so it doesn't feel scrunched up at all, particularly in the toe, which can get really annoying in the long round, especially when you're walking. And then specific to the Velo shoes, which you can't really tell because of just the nature of the camera, but the application that is made here in these pieces here, this is intentional. This isn't design. This is actually functional. And so what this does is stiffens up the sides. So again, for lateral stability, when you're moving inside the shoe, it kind of clamps on top in a way, kind of like the Audi 360 shoes, where you have the wrap, so to speak. This is kind of a version of the wrap, lighter weight version of the wrap, which I like a lot. Heel stabilizer, very comfortable. I've always enjoyed wearing Sqairz. I've worn them for 5 years, basically since they came out from the beginning. And the evolution of the shoes and the company has been really cool to see. So these are going to be my shoes for 2025. I've not played a ton of golf this year, so finally the thaw has happened here in the Northeast U.S., and I'm going to be able to actually start getting out playing starting tomorrow, actually, which is very exciting. So I'll put these into play right away, and probably we'll do a follow-up video on this, but you know how I feel about Sqairz, and I'm telling you, get involved with them because I know they're going to help your game. I know they're very comfortable. I've turned a lot of people onto them over the last handful of years, and I'm going to continue to do so because I firmly believe in what they are building and that they are taking this version of footwear to a new level in terms of not only performance, but also additional comfort in terms of the weights you carry with each and every step. I'm Ryan Ballengee. Thanks for watching. Please consider subscribing to the channel if you're interested. We do videos about equipment. We talk about equipment. We also talk about better performance on the golf course. So we'll be doing a series of videos talking about kind of golf coaching and mistakes that people often make on the golf course. Not so technical in nature that you can't follow it, but stuff that's kind of practical that when you employ it in your game, I promise you it's going to help it. So please consider subscribing, and we'll see you in the next video.